They know where this game is going to be won and lost, and Chris Hill, I disagree with all the lads. I think his return will be the catalyst for a victory for the Warrington side tonight. I believe the platform he will set, and young Jack Johnson getting a gig at fullback with Matthew Russell and Tom Lynham. Those first three players are so important to any set of six. The worry is, and the trouble is, when those first three players aren't at the pace and speed that the Wolves desire, what's plan B? Well, I guess we'll see if plan B will be needed tonight.
Well, no, the fog hasn't come in. It's the fireworks that they have at every home game that we have had this season here at the Leigh Sports Village. The smoke is clearing. Ben Thaler, the referee, can see both ends of the field. So we are underway in this vital match for both sides, really. A vital match for Leigh to maintain their promising start to the season, but a really big occasion for the Warrington Wolves, who you get the feeling they dare not lose. But that was a great chase from the kickoff, and Mike Cooper feeling the weight of the first tackle. And here is the first glimpse of the Kirk Gidley player camera on the chest of the Warrington Wolves scrum half, and we will see how that pans out during the course of this evening. I bet there'll be some really good camera shots from there. Let's hope so anyway. As Chris Hill gets his first touch against his former club in 2017. Donald Clark at dummy half. This is Mike Cooper, got the first tackle against him, and he's got the last in this set of six. Clark will funnel the ball to Gidley, and Gidley will pump it down the touchline, down the right-hand side. It skims off the turf and into the arms of Ryan Hampshire. Good chase from Kirk Gidley.
Well, that's what you're after in your first set of six. You get to your kick, you trap the opposition in the corner. They've got decent line speed. Everyone pushing up. You can see them communicating, trying to hold up the Leigh player before taking him to ground. Good shot from Joe Westerman as well. Good first contact.
Opening shots of this match here. If they win tonight, it would mean 6 points so far for Leigh, more than after the whole of 2005. After 6 matches, they'd have 6 points, more than they got through the entire season the last time they were in the Super League. Good kick too.
Well, one of the reasons why Leigh did win so convincing last week, because of the kicks from Josh Drinkwater and Ben Reynolds, who put that first one in. The majority of cases, they were excellent last week, and of course that's encouraging the teammates to run hard, chase, and put their opponents under pressure.
Gidley is the man at dummy half, and he turns the ball into the arms of Matty Russell, who runs straight across the face of the defence, then finds Mike Cooper with the pass. Cooper gets the ball away, but that was risky, and it was far too risky, and Drinkwater was on it in a flash.
Eddie, that was one of the problems last week. They made 26 offloads against Wigan, but the majority of offloads weren't good enough. They weren't going to a teammate. They were panicking. Just because they get their arm free, they don't have to offload that ball.
So what an opportunity this is for the Leigh Centurions. Hyam at dummy half gives the ball to Harrison Hansen. Hansen is met by Westerman and by Cooper. This is Hyam, what he would give for a try tonight against the club he left just a touch acrimoniously just a couple of years ago. Gareth Hock is at dummy half. Here is Ben Reynolds, gives it then to Glenn Stewart. Stewart attacking that line. Solid Warrington defence on the 5 tackles so far after the mistake. But can they keep Stewart out here? He dumps the ball back. They keep the ball alive. It's still alive, is it? It's picked up by Russell. Was that a knock-on? Referee Ben Thaler said no, the ball went backwards and play on.
Well, Matty Russell, the right winger for Warrington, finds himself in the middle of the pitch defending that play. You could see that Leigh Centurions on the last play, looking for that crash ball so close to the line.
He's doing a solo dance, isn't he? Matty Russell on the right wing here, completely outnumbered. The ball, fortuitously for him, fell at his feet, and you see there Kirk Gidley defending out wide on the right. There's a scramble of bodies in front of him. They hold out the first raid.
Ben Westwood gets to his feet, plays the ball here to Ryan Atkins, just inside his own half of the field. He'll do his best to get Warrington to the halfway line. Plays the ball to Clark. They come down this side, which is the left, with Kevin Brown. It's a nice kick over the top from Brown. Finds touch 20 metres away from the Leigh Centurions line.
Well, kicking the ball on the last play, Ryan Atkins wins the play. You can see Kevin Brown under no pressure. He normally controls the left edge for Warrington. You get Kirk Gidley controlling everything that goes on the right-hand side. A very talented player. Looks just to keep on turning the pressure, keep turning the opposition around, challenge them near their own try line.
Would that kick be expected to go deeper though, Terry? I mean, this is effectively going to be about a tap 20 restart, isn't it? More or less where they're going to get to here on this play.
Yeah, probably looking for a further 10 metres, Phil.
Didn't find it though. That's why Hickson has the ball here for the Leigh Centurions. They won just 5 points 12 years ago, 2 wins and a draw from their home games. They have had 2 home wins already this year, and they were very impressive last week against the Huddersfield Giants, 30 points to 0. Hansen with a good run down the left-hand side, halted though by Westerman's tackle.
He was good last week. Harrison Hansen led from the front along with Gareth Hock, the man who's next carrying this ball. Here he goes, looking to always promote the ball. Gareth plays through the line. Here's a penalty.
Jack Hughes hanging on to Gareth Hock's legs far too long as he tried to get his feet and play the ball quickly just earlier. Kirk Gidley involved. There's the big hit on Gidley.
Well, he did the opposite, Kirk Gidley, didn't he? He was asked to run at Gareth Hock, and Gareth Hock has run at him, and he's such a difficult proposition, Gareth Hock. It's all elbows and knees. Wherever you tackle him, it's going to hurt.
By the way, the ring around the shot that you see on the player cam, we've made great strides and taken great lengths to make sure that everything is A-OK health and safety wise for players of both sides. It is a protective cover around the lens of that camera. It's quite flat to the body of Kirk Gidley, though, should provide no problems whatsoever. But this Leigh Centurions attack is providing problems right now for the Warrington defence. 10 metres away, 3 tackles gone. Drinkwater attacking the line. Lovely ball laid off to Harrison Hansen. Warrington's defence needed to be good.
They're playing off a strong goal forward from the middle 6 for Leigh.
Hyam gets it away to Hock again, and Hock will go for the line. Gareth Hock. The crowd say he's got this ball down. What say you, Ben Thaler? I think this is going to be the first decision of the night for Robert Hicks. They have a try on the field. It could be a sensational start for Leigh.
I think he's got it, Eddie. It was a strong carry. He gets low. Does he get over the line, Stuart?
Well, it certainly looks like he's got the ball off the ground all the time going forward, so that takes the double movement out of it. That ball's on the line. He's got that down. Ben Thaler was in a decent position to send it up as a try. He's in possession, the ball's on the line. This will be confirmed.
Well, the 2003 Young Player of the Year while he was at the Wigan Warriors looks like he's got Leigh off to a flyer here. 6 minutes gone, and the Centurions lead by 4 points to 0. He got a try in the win against St Helens as well, Gareth Hock. So is that an omen on this, his 290th career appearance?
A blood-busting try from Gareth Hock, but put it down to the action that's going on behind the ball. Lots of players, lots of options, lots of distractions for the Warrington defenders to deal with. A nice show and goal, and those are 2 fine defenders that he manages to get through, Gareth Hock. Ben Westwood and Chris Hill on his return. They can't handle the big man.
And so Gareth Hock returning to Super League in 2017 for the first time since 2015 with Salford. And here is Ben Reynolds now to try and add the extras, which he does with ease. Leigh 6, Warrington 0, 7 minutes on the clock.
Well, the 2 most common ways that teams score when they get to a opponent's line are 1, passing out wide, getting the overlap and finding the winger to score, and secondly, giving it to a big man in the middle who goes hard and low and manages to get the ball over the line. On a regular basis, Leigh are finding that combination very good. In games this season, they've had big men crash through the middle of the opponent's defence. They've shown skill and passed it out wide. And as Barry has pointed out, that added some indecision in the defence for Warrington and is making Leigh a real Super League side.
Yes, there might have been a few doubters. How about that for an offload from Stewart to Hyam? Here comes the try scorer again.
We're here, boys, go.
And that's Hyam once more. Finds Drinkwater. Harrison Hansen, who started this game lively, will play the ball. Hyam again. On a slip. The slip is Clark approached him for Ben Reynolds. Here goes Hyam again. A scampering run from Mickey Hyam.
Anytime there's a quick play the ball, Mickey Hyam's going to be going right in Hampshire now, behind dummy half. There's the ball on the 4th play.
Reynolds again with the kick, looking for Drinkwater. Oh, was that taken out by Johnson?
That's a brilliant kick.
It's touch from Johnson, isn't it?
Perfect weight. Outstanding work.
Well, he's given Leigh the head and feet. He just wants Robert Hicks to check this. And it is taken out of play.
Yeah, the pressure, the pressure from Adam Hickson.
But it was the weight of the kick, Tez. Ben Reynolds just places it into the space. Kick where the pigeons are, they used to say. And that was where the space was. Everybody hurrying towards the ball, and he had no option, Jack Johnson.
So scrum feed to the Leigh Centurions, 10 metres out. Here's Drinkwater again, lays it off to a Vey. He takes on Hughes and Kurt Gidley, who scampers back to his own goal line as Hampshire from dummy half gets the ball away to Jamie Acton. Jamie Acton has got a try in each of his last 2 home games. He wants 3 in a row here. Will struggle to his feet, does so. Back it comes then to Reynolds. Reynolds then was looking for Hampshire. Hampshire under pressure, dropped it. Ben Westwood did likewise. First knock on, scrum down, head and feed Warrington.
He had good depth then, Leigh Centurions, but it was a great read from Ryan Atkins, who comes out the line, he spots where the danger is, and he just cuts it down straight away, threw his body into that tackle.
And it's unbelievable when you think back less than a month that Warrington were destroying the Brisbane Broncos in the first half of that game. Which of the Warrington fans would have thought they would become here to Leigh now, and less than 10 minutes into the game, being so nervous, having played 4 and lost 4, how quickly the things have gone wrong for Warrington. They're under so much pressure here tonight.
Yes, they are. Pressure is a wonderful thing at the top of the table. It's also an awful thing at the bottom of the table, because there is anxiety amongst the players. They know they need a win to kickstart their season in the Super League. They know what happened to the Leeds Rhinos, having finished top of the tree and winning the treble in 2015. And it's amazing if lightning is going to strike twice. It really is.
What do you do when you get your arm free? Do you force that ball? Do you just try and play conservative to get into the grind? Warrington have got it in the DNA just to play. There's so many talented players that they've got, and they just need to get some good touches, some good field position, and they cause problems.
That's a great kick from Kurt Gidley. He measured the kick then. He found the 10-metre mark. It's head and feet to lead the scrum. But this is the view that he had. The ball back in his hands, and then he thumps it downfield. Great kick. Look at the angle he got, and look at where it crosses the sideline.
I think Leigh were relieved that the ball did roll over the sideline. Their fullback, Ryan Hampshire, was actually out of play, injured. It was a huge hole which Adam Hickson hoped to fill. They're glad that the ball went over, and they get a chance to restart here now in a set format.
And wasn't it a good kick from Gidley? You could see from the play cam the amount of pressure that was on him. The players in front of him, yet he still manages to place that kick exactly where he wants it.
Whoa, let's get bound again, folks. Let's make sure
referee unhappy with the way that scrum had formed.
Okay, get in now.
We've got to at least lock horns, if nothing else.
Well, move that all! Here, guys, mate. Go.
So here they come again, the Leigh Centurions. This now is Adam Hickson.
We're here, guys.
As this game goes on,
Hand on the ball.
there you go, penalty. Adam Hickson, strong returner of the ball. Every time he goes in, he lands on his front. You can see that Joe Westerman just trying to buy that extra couple of seconds, knowing that his teammates won't be back with the referee. But as this game goes on, and if Warrington get that field position where they're defending close to Leigh's line, I fancy Leigh to open up the plays, try and play outside of them.
Hock gets the bumpers up and takes it straight into the heart of the Warrington defence. That was Jack Hughes who stood his ground. Here now is Acton again, having a bang on the side of his cheek by the looks of things. Early scars of battle. This is Hyam. Hyam gets the ball away brilliantly to Acton. They get to within 20 metres of the line. Vey and Drinkwater looking for the runners. Reynolds snared by Kevin Brown.
He did well to keep hold of that then. He was caught in 2 minds whether to shift it to the right.
This is Glenn Stewart now. Chris Hill gets in with the tackle. Reynolds, crossfield kick. Oh, difficult here for Evans. The ball bounces back for Leigh. It's still with Drinkwater. No, it isn't. It's a knock-on. Knock-on, 5th tackle turnover, and Warrington breathe a sigh of relief.
Well, they had some numbers out wide then. It's Mitch Brown that goes up, tries to tap it back to Matty Dawson. But this is where Leigh will want to defend. They know that they've got to deal with the first 3 carries. Barry already talked about it. Matty Russell, Tom Lynham, Jack Johnson, get the team going forward. If you control them first 3 players, it will frustrate Warrington.
Here goes Ryan Atkins now from dummy half. He gets as far as Ben Crooks and Hickson. This is Lynham. 4 tackles gone, still inside their own half. Clark gets the ball away to Brown. Brown will kick. He's gone for a 40-20 here as Kevin Brown. And Hampshire is well aware of that. Chased it back, picked it up though, but only about 7 or 8 metres away from his own line. The angle not quite good enough.
He'll be happy where he turned the ball off, though. He looked for where Ryan Hampshire was. He spotted some space behind him and behind Higson. Kicks it into the corner, come up with a decent chase. Now they need to control the next few plays here.
Adam Higson playing the ball there to Matty Dawson. Higson got his 62nd try for Leigh in his first in Super League last week against Huddersfield. This is Harrison Hansen now. Another man who got his first try of the campaign last week. Good run from Acton, and Darrell Clark was trying to pinch the ball from him as well as he fell. They've reached the 5th, so it goes high off the left boot of Drinkwater. Pouched by Matty Russell, who'll try and kickstart the attack. But that's good harassing by Mitch Brown.
He does want to take that, doesn't he, Matty Russell? But aren't the Leigh forwards running with some power? They're trying to pick out one man, run straight at him. There's not much footwork going on from the Leigh forwards.
Rhys Evans will take the ball forward. Off the bench last week in a try against Wigan. Gidley. That's a big hit and he's lost the ball. That's a crunching tackle. This is a free play. This is a free play and Ben Crooks puts boot to ball and Ben Crooks is going to score. Ben Crooks scores on the free play for the Leigh Centurions. It was a massive, massive hit on Kane Gidley. But the touch judge is saying something about what might have happened at the other end of the field. He gives the try anyway, Ben Thaler. Ben Crooks gets the try. The Young Player of the Year 4 years ago with Castleford last year. Young Player with Hull in 2013. Second try of the campaign for Ben Crooks. Second try of the night here for the Leigh Centurions.
Well, sometimes tough defenders are a deterrent to anyone who's running with the ball. But it's Gallagher who comes from the inside, puts a lot of pressure on Gidley, and then the ball goes to Ben Crooks. Clever play on the first play, backs himself. He knows that there's space on the edge. Even if he doesn't get this ball, it will come back and he'll get it back again, another set of 6. But what about that? The shot from the inside, Harrison Hansen, apologies, I thought it was Gallagher. But clever play from Crooks. You'd love to see players who'll just back themselves in open space. And he's a youngster who'll do that.
Well, you just cast your aces on a free play, don't you, and see what comes up. And on that occasion, it came up trumps for the Leigh Centurions. Ben Crooks with the try, 10-0.
There's an argument to say Ben Crooks could have kept hold of that ball, perhaps not scored the try, not took the chance that the referee or the touch judge who had the discussion might have disallowed it, but as it was a tremendous piece of defence, great work from the inside, and a forced error.
Every team needs a hitman, don't they? And Harrison Hansen's back to his best. He had a period when he was playing for Leigh where he didn't look like the player that he'd once been, but certainly got himself fit, fresh. He's got that appetite to hit people and hurt them.
As Reynolds got the appetite to convert this try, he's trying to draw it over the top of the bar. Oh, he hits the post. So close. 10-0 though. The Centurions lead.
Well, here we go. Here's Ben Crooks and his opportunistic reactions, but great work when Kurt Gidley is holding that ball out with 2 hands, looking for a support player. I bet the eyes of Harrison Hansen lit up because he thought, he's not even looking at me.
Warrington then kick off, trailing by 10 points to 0. Here comes the big man, Acton again, Jamie Acton. Missed the opener against Castleford.
Again, Eddie, just a big surge. Just pick out your target. You run straight at him. Gallagher with the second carry, picks out Grisell.
Well, amazing this. Warrington were leading try scorers last year, 150 scored. They conceded the fewest in 2016 in 95. They've managed only 12 tries in the first 4 rounds and conceded 20. Make that 22 now. They're leaking an average of 28 points a game in Super League. And after 17 minutes here, they've leaked 10 tonight. Drinkwater, nice little kick over the top. But Johnson, moving quickly from left to right, managed to get the ball down. Hock then comes in with a high challenge. That's a penalty.
Yeah, puts his hand up straight away. Catches young Johnson up high, straight in front of the referee. They're certainly hunting in numbers, the Centurions.
But that's the penalty Warrington wanted.
Yeah, they've had no possession. no field position, Warrington. It's the reason Leigh Centurions are 10-0 up, but it's been off the back of good play from Hawk Acton.
And if there's an Achilles heel that Leigh have got, it's the penalties they're giving away. They're the most penalised side in the opening rounds of Super League. They've given away 55 penalties, averaging 11 a game. Tighten up that, control the ball, and who knows what could happen for them.
It's amazing, this ground, though, the Leigh Sports Village, for the Leigh Centurions in the recent past. It has been a fortress for them.
It has, and they've looked good this season as Warrington attempt to put some attack and play together here now. It's unsurprising that there's not the real fluency, pace or accuracy that they've had when they've been at the very, very best, but they've held on to possession, and Kevin Brown stiffs again down behind the ruck.
But he's brought down on tackle number 4, 21 metres or so away from the Leigh line. Clark gets the ball then to Westerman. Westerman to Gidley. He loses possession again, does Gidley, and Drinkwater pounces on the loose ball for the Centurions. Here goes Harrison Hansen.
It was a good skip out as well.
What a great run from Hansen. What a great run under pressure from Hansen.
They've just been so courageous, aren't they, the forwards? Getting stuck into Warrington, showing no respect whatsoever.
Here now, Matty Dawson. And Jamie Acton again will carry the battle forward. Hyan, once upon a time of the Warrington Wolves. Hock, once upon a time of the Wigan Warriors and the Salford Red Devils. Hyan behind him to play the ball. Here is Drinkwater again. Who was Drinkwater taken out after the ball had gone? No. Referee says play on, as Johnson runs it back only about 3 or 4 metres.
It demonstrates the variety, though, that Leigh have in their attacking kick. Some teams use the same kick every time it gets to the end of a set. Not with Leigh. They've got a left-foot kicker in Drinkwater, a right-footed option in Ben Reynolds, and they do mix and vary how they put the ball to their opponents and challenge them when they regain possession.
Cooper gets the pass away to the evergreen Ben Westwood. Westwood is grounded on tackle number 4. They're struggling to get to halfway, and their sets are Warrington. Only courtesy of the kick from Kevin Brown did he get into Leigh territory. Lyman takes a huge dive. He believes he was pushed or tripped by the winger Adam Hickson, but the touch judge and referee will have none of it.
He was just having a word with the touch judge, still looking over his shoulder. He thought that should have been a penalty, but again, Kevin Brown kicking into the corner behind Ryan Hampshire, and Hickson, he knows that they're up in defence. There's no secret ingredient here, Eddie. Leigh Centurions are just running hard. They get in the field position. They're giving the ball then to Reynolds and Drinkwater. Here's a man who was impressive last week, Danny Tickle. He's off the sub-bench straight into the action.
And here's a kick from Reynolds. It's high and it's long, but he was aiming maybe for a 40-20. Didn't get the angle quite right, so Johnson can run this ball back. The 20-year-old fullback tonight for the Warrington Wolves. Only win so far for them this year against the Brisbane Broncos. They were top of the world in the World Club Series, 27-18. The game featured their best 40 minutes of the year. They were 24-6 up against the Broncos at half-time. They fell away a bit second half.
I think everyone's just waiting for them to click, aren't they? As Darryl Clark goes forward, this is one player who can certainly get them clicking and get the numbers on the scoreboard.
Plowing a long furrow there, though. Everyone was about 15-20 metres behind him. They've caught up with him now. This is Rhys Evans, tackled by Atelier. Gidley once again. Here comes Mike Cooper. Now this is the first real opportunity for the Warrington Wolves. They're 20 metres away. They're on tackle number 3. They have 3 left. Brown scampers into dummy half because there was nobody there behind. And this now Rhys Evans. They get to within 13 metres of the line. Hughes to Gidley. Gidley then gives it to Westerman. Westerman finds Brown again, and Glenn Stewart moves out quickly to bring Kevin Brown to ground. Westerman to Gidley. Crossfield and high. Matty Dawson's after this. The ball though has landed with Warrington. It's come back to Jack Hughes, and Jack Hughes might well touch down with a response for the Warrington Wolves. But they're going to have a check on it. They have to, the way that ball came out.
Leigh hesitated, Jack Hughes.
They have a try on the field though, Stuart.
Well, it's knock-on in the air, or knock-on when the ball comes to ground. On a couple of occasions, I did hear the officials calling that everything was okay as it was going through. So they're onside from the kick, so it's all about the challenge in the air. Is there a knock-on?
Jack Hughes almost gave himself up, didn't he?
Correct, I thought that. Correct.
Certainly the jump here. Is it Rhys Evans? Does it touch him going through? I think it hits his hand, doesn't it? And it's caught in front of him.
It certainly.
So whatever happens, I don't think there's going to be a try. I think it hits Rhys Evans' finger and then goes forward.
Offside penalty then?
Well, that's what it should be. Should be penalty for offside. It hits his hand there and then it's caught behind or in an offside position. So this should certainly be no try. So the decision needs to be reversed. No try and a penalty to Leigh. You can see that Russell's in front of him there and catches the ball.
It's not Russell who's knocked it on. You think it's this from
knock on there from Rhys Evans
off his thumb.
Off his thumb, but it goes forward and Russell plays it in an offside position. So this should be no try and it should be a penalty to Leigh.
Remember that he has to have 100% certainty that this on-field decision of try can be turned down.
Well, he has to have sufficient evidence, and I think there's sufficient evidence there to say that Rhys Evans has touched the ball.
So it's sufficient now. It's
sufficient.
Not necessarily 100%.
Sufficient, I think, is the word.
Okay. Well, they're not looking at the grounding, so it looks like it's going to be turned down, and it is. And the Jack Hughes stutter before he touched the ball down really told its own story, maybe.
I think we're going to check it anyway. It's interesting that it took Warrington 20 minutes to get inside the opposition 20-metre zone. They had 5 players and it came to the last one. High kick to the corner. You try your luck. But at the moment, Warrington's attack seems to be hit and hope on that last play. See whether we can score some points from a kick.
So penalty to Leigh right on their own line, which will help them. Warrington will feel that everything is conspiring against them at the moment.
He's got a very players. I'm sure that if they can stay down Leigh's line, they can cause some problems. But Leigh defended as a team, as a unit. Said before, no one last week trying to solve the problem. Again, just look, another straightforward, straight hard carry from Danny Tickle.
Stuart, there was a long discussion then with Chris Hill and the referee. Was he just querying that decision?
Well, Ben was explaining to the Warrington captain the reason for the penalty and why it wasn't a scrum.
Fair enough. Now, Harrison Hansen has the ball just shy of the halfway line for the Centurions. Mickey Hyam. Oh, and Danny Tickle with the mistake on halfway.
Well, Danny Tickle. The ball bounces off his chest. You can see he's looking at Jack Hughes, Mike Cooper. Those Warrington defenders trying to get up, trying to force a mistake, but Danny Tickle handing possession. They're on the halfway line. I think field position is absolutely paramount for the Wolves. We talked about plan A, the first 3 tackles, generating that momentum. We've also talked about the halfbacks, the way that they split, Brown and Gidley, when they're asking questions. They can't do that if they're constantly bringing the ball away from their own line.
Danny Tickle, whose error has given Warrington this field position, playing for his 6th club. Oh, it's a knock-on. It's a knock-on here by Ben Westwood.
Well, Sam Hopkins is the lead defender, getting all the credit here. Hits the deck and it squeezes out the back. There's just been a tremendous amount of rainfall while we're waiting for the video referee decision that seems to have come and gone. In fact, it's still raining, but not quite as heavily now. Conditions changed in that 5-minute period.
Greasy ball then, and Ben Westwood unable to hang on to it. This is Kurt Gidley and his player cam feeding the scrum. Feeding being the operative word.
Sam Hopkins, another player introduced from the bench. Another one who'll just be put his hand up, carry the ball, take it forward. Tillier goes out the back. Danny Tickle. They've got a lot of movement in the middle of the park. Like to keep it nice and tight. Come up with some strong carries. Here goes Hopkins. He drops the ball. Is it? No, it goes offload.
So here is Tickle. He gets it away once again to Mitch Brown. And the Australian goes to ground, plays the ball to Atelier, the Tongan. And then it bounces its way into the arms of another Aussie. That's Glenn Stewart. Hyam goes left. Drinkwater, short pass. Tickle hangs on this time. He's under pressure from Gidley. Time again. Drinkwater dabs the kick in, but well watched by Rhys Evans.
He did well to get that, didn't he? You could see that Mickey Hyam spotted that Warrington weren't back on their right edge. So because Leigh had reloaded really quick, he had numbers there, but he comes up with the goods. Rhys Evans.
Russell is cut down by Glenn Stewart. Plays the ball to Darrell Clark. He then finds Ryan Atkins. Big hit by Harrison Hansen. Oh, good offload though. Here is Clark. Goes away from Hopkins.
Well, he looks dangerous, doesn't he, Darrell Clark? He's sniffing around everything. Getting where the action is. Chris Hill now with a carry. Doesn't want to be dominated. Turned on his back. You can see he's fighting with Hopkins.
Plays the ball. This is the last one. So Brown with the kick. And then he finds Ryan Hampshire. Hampshire will run it back and gives the ball to Hickson. Tries to go inside Jack Hughes, and Hughes hands all over him.
Great work from Leigh then. The kick was put in. The kick chase team was a 4 or 5 man team. With one pass, they got outside that. And Jack Hughes, he unfortunately for the Wolves gives a penalty away, but lovely movement from Leigh Centurions. They're prepared to play, they're prepared to pass the ball. Doesn't matter what part of the pitch they're in, they're prepared to pass the ball to a player in a better position.
On a ground where they've won 16 home games in 2016 and have beaten St Helens for the first time since 1994 and have repeated their qualifying win against Huddersfield. 30 points to nil last week. Their biggest Super League win in terms of margin. First time that they had kept the opposition to nil as well, the Leigh Centurions. Confidence breeds confidence.
And the only loss they've had this year at home at the Leigh Sports Village was against Leeds Rhinos, and that was just by 3 points.
Yes, so they were going to be the no-hopers, the easy beats, but they're anything but that. If you listen to the pundits, they were the favourites for relegation. Of course, they might still struggle later on, but this has been a wonderful start to the season for them. This is Crooks. Good job. Kevin Brown got the tackle in. Hyam, Reynolds, angled kick, Johnson. Bit of trouble here for Johnson, work to do, does it well.
Wasn't that a smart kick from Reynolds?
What's quite obvious is the difference in the difficulty in dealing with the kicks. When Leigh kicked the ball, it's a scramble and you're under pressure. When Warrington have kicked it, generally speaking, they've had to just pick the ball, catch the ball. They've not been challenged or contested.
But that's because they've not been close to the line, isn't it? They've not been like attacking kicks where the defending side, when you're the defending side, you can't put that pressure on. Look at that for dominant defence. Numbers in, hitting numbers. You hold him up, you wait for your teammates, someone gets underneath them.
Lachlan Burr is out there now, substituting the last two as well. Gidley gets it away to Westerman, that was Hughes, here now is Rhys Evans. Matty Dawson gets him round the ankles.
Westerman's now kicking it.
That's a hacked kick across field, straight into the arms of Hickson, who begin from inside the Warrington half.
Just 40 metres from Warrington's line. You can credit that to the defensive efforts that they've come up with. They tried to play around them, and then Joe Westerman kicking the ball over the other side. It's not the play that Tony Smith will be looking for.
Well, it's been a wonderful opening 29.5 minutes for the Leigh Centurions. Mickey Hyam will be revelling in this. Drinkwater gets the ball away. Stewart, it wasn't the best pass from Reynolds, actually.
Kevin Brown come up with a big tackle, shoulder in, dislodge the ball. They need some possession, the Wolves, my word.
Well, they've got it now with Westerman, 30 metres away from their own line. He'll play the ball to Darrell Clark. Mike Cooper trying to bustle his way through this defensive line and getting the penalty. His enthusiasm to get up and play the ball convinced the referee.
He needed that, don't he? You can see that Cooper's footwork at the line. He gets the one-on-one, he lands on his front. Leigh clutching, just trying to keep him held down on the ground. Knows that if it's a quick play of the ball, there's one man who's going to get up from dummy half, that's Darrell Clark. He's the man that could change this game, along with Kevin Brown for Warrington.
Will Ashton Sims change the course of this first half? He's just replaced Chris Hill, who's lasted half an hour. Gidley drops the pass off, and Jack Hughes will get to his feet, plays the ball to Clark. Here is Westerman, showed it to Sims, took it on himself. 3 tackles gone now. This is an opportunity for the Wolves with Kevin Brown. Dabs the kick in early in the tackle count.
If he had his time again, I'm sure he wouldn't have put that kick in. Kicking on the third play, he had Johnson out the back. They looked like they had numbers. They could have come up with a couple of players close to line, asked a few more questions before looking for that repeat set of 6.
Well, they are firing up in defence here, Warrington, because they turned that ball over right on the Leigh goal line. It needs a big run here from Mitch Brown. He does quite well. He gets almost to the 20-metre mark, but that's 4 gone. Matty Dawson now will take it up. Dawson makes another priceless 10 metres. This is the 5th, so here comes the last. Kick will have to be good. Under pressure, he gets the kick away.
And a good reward for some terrific defence. They catch the ball, approaching the halfway line. The Leigh Centurions had to kick for more or less the 20-metre line. But you feel the Centurions are in full control. I'm going to correct myself here. I thought that the Warrington Wolves had hardly any possession. There are only 2 sets of 6 off equal share of possession.
It's just been that sort of match. It has given you that impression that Warrington.
It's the quality of what the Centurions have done when they've had it that caused the problems.
He's lost this.
Yeah, there you go. He's lost it, Darryl Clark. And Leigh celebrates.
You know, again, you get to the urgency. Pelissier over the top, just affecting the tackle. Darryl Clark in his haste to play the ball.
Here's what it looks like from Kirk Gidley's point of view. That's what it looks like when a player runs straight at you. I hope you're enjoying this unique look at the player cam.
It's a good job it's not in 3D, isn't it? Come on, then players running out of the screen at you.
Okay, let's bang! Jack, head in! No, I
don't think the Warrington fans are enjoying the view at the moment. Certainly the way the team have been outplayed for 30 minutes. Somebody somehow needs to find a wave of enthusiasm that can transform the team who are not just being outplayed tactically or in terms of the kicking, but certainly in terms of the energy and the enthusiasm. Seems to be far greater from the home team at present.
You've got a player on the bench, Phil, Brad Dwyer. He normally adds a bit of zip, a bit of fizz to the Warrington attack, but he's got a big job if he wants to resurrect his 10-0 deficit.
Pelissier is out there, as we mentioned just before. Oh, that's a mistake from Lachlan Burr. Knock on. It was good pressure as well, applied by Mike Cooper and the Warrington forwards and Ashton Sims.
And that's it. You can see he turns around because the pressure from Sims. He's trying to offload that ball as he's going down to the ground. He's on halfway line. He's in a decent position where he thinks, yeah, do you know what, I'll get my arm free. But the pressure from that man, Ashton Sims, is starting to get some decent territory now, Warrington.
Well, 80 minutes last week, and Leigh didn't concede a point. 33 and a half minutes this. Still 0 against the Warrington name.
Well, they just need to create some momentum going forward. Try that with Jack Hughes with his first carry from the scrum.
This is Sims again. He goes down, tackle number 2.
Here's Brett Dwyer.
Yes, Dwyer will add something to them. Gidley gets it away to Hughes, but harassing from Mitch Brown. Good tackling. Gidley again. Dwyer helps it on to Westerman. Westerman then fires the pass to Cervello. Cervello has the strength to get away from Crooks almost.
They were very flat though, the Warrington attacking line, as they looked to shift it.
Well, Brad Dwyer lost his footing then, and Warrington lost momentum. They offload the ball. They offload it again to Brown. He took the chance. It's come up for Ryan Atkins. And Atkins is a man who can get to the try line, but not with 3 and then 2 around him. This now is Dwyer. Brown again with the kick. This is high. The chase is good. Gidley's after this. Well claimed. Well claimed, Ryan Hampshire. And he gets away from the would-be tacklers. Makes good meters.
That was tremendous play from Ryan Hampshire. A number of Warrington players putting pressure on him. He focuses on catching that ball. You've got to thrive on those situations as a fullback.
Pelissier looks for a penalty. He's so crafty and so clever. He knew Mike Cooper was offside, ran straight at him, and Cooper couldn't resist.
100%, Eddie. Played for and got there by Elwar Pelissier. He knows that there's some ruck speed. He's looking for it.
He points at him. Watch this. Yeah. He points at him.
There you go.
Look.
He's helping the referee out.
Telling Ben Thaler his job.
Bless him.
So Leigh in great shape again with the Telebe.
Come on, discipline. Wait here, wait. Go.
Pelissier once more. Burr will drive it in. 15 metres away from the line. 2 tackles gone. Big chance for Leigh to increase the lead before half-time. This is that man, Sam Hopkins. Bit of a handful to hang on to. Sims does. Pelissier just opened up for him. Short pass. Is that Danny Tickle?
The ball could have been on the back then, Eddie. There was a try on.
And Drinkwater gets it away to Hampshire. The referee brings them back for offside on the line. Would they take the 2 on offer here with 4 minutes to half-time?
I think they will.
Neil Dukes pointing the direction.
And the corn's coming on, I think.
He sent him on. Danny Tickle and said we'll have 2, and that's what they're going for. Why wouldn't you?
He had no option then. Rhys Evans was outnumbered. He needed to come in and shut that player down.
Well, look where Russell is on this side. He's at least 3 yards offside.
He is, but the offence is there. It's a good shot initially and then ends up around the head. Ryan Hampshire, I think probably the better option would be to play on, but that's why Neil Dukes gets paid the big bucks.
That's true. Or did he? Was Ryan Hampshire, was he being implored to run it, and Ryan Hampshire just said let's calm down?
Yeah.
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, Barry.
Good.
Tough kick here now from Ben Reynolds, who's I think had a very good start to the season. He obviously missed that first game, 23 years of age. I think he's actually only in the Leigh side probably because they lost Ryan Brierley, who then went to Huddersfield. But from what I've seen, he runs, passes, tackles and kicks it better than Brierley, who's a fantastic support player and scores lots of tries. With the variety of the game and this goal-kicking aspect might just at the moment maybe favour Ben Reynolds.
Well, a year ago he was out on loan at Dewsbury in the Championship. Here tonight he's kicking goals for fun in the Super League, and Leigh have a 12-0 advantage, and we've got 2.5 minutes to half-time. Hasn't Neil Dukes done a great job so far?
Yeah, since he came in and took over from Paul Rowley.
Everyone said Neil who?
I'm getting the right edge, yourself, Jack, Reeves and Matt called a lot on the 10. I am. We've got to get back to me, you're just going early.
Referee having a quick word with Kurt Gidley. Wants his team to tighten up a bit on the discipline at the play the ball by the sound of things.
Possibly get back on side, Eddie, listening to the point that you were making, or emphasising the point that you were making, not listening to you. I don't think he can hear you from here, can he?
No, nobody listens to me, Barry, as you quite you know. So I'll stay quiet for a while.
Ready, guys, come on.
Could be some frustrated players on Warrington shirt in the second half. Again, just doing the basics well, aren't they? Knock off some Pelissier.
Oh my God.
Knock on back here, boys.
The ball comes loose. Ashton Sims picks it up and passes it to nobody. Elba Pelissier goes into contact. The ball comes out.
But it was a free play, Baz.
Yeah.
Joey.
It was a free play. We'll give Ashton the benefit of the doubt.
Get benefit out of that.
Minute and a half to the half-time siren. Now this is a big moment for Warrington and a big moment for Leigh.
Yeah, it's a big set. Six in attack. They've got to throw as many numbers at the defensive line as they can.
And Andre Cervello will take the ball forward, but only as far as Glenn Stewart and company.
We're here, guys.
They've got to set this field position now. That Dwyer's looking for someone to set a line in centre field.
Sims tries to do that, but only makes 3 or 4 metres forward. Dwyer gets it away to Gidley.
Spots that Drinkwater coming and cut Gidley down then.
Wait, guys. Go.
3 tackles gone. This is Westerman.
They're about where they started, aren't they? They've crept forward 5 or 10 metres, but it's been a rather unthreatening set to sit, and then the kick and hope.
Yes, a kick to the corner. Lynham, though, is dangerous. Oh, dear. That was almost catastrophic for Adam Higson. He could hear the hooves of Tom Lynham behind him.
Well, again, an early kick for Warrington, but it comes off this time where they get a repeat set of 6.
And they've got 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Well, 31 to be precise.
We'll only have a couple of players here, Eddie, to come up with something. They'll take them in at half-time with some points on the scoreboard.
It's an interesting question. Which side do you think is looking forward to the half-time booter more? Is it Warrington, who are behind on the scoreboard, or is it Leigh Centurions?
I think Leigh want to play on, don't they?
Yeah,
I'd agree with you.
I think Leigh want to play on. They don't want to go into the sheds.
That's one.
Cooper takes it forward on the first tackle. They've got 15 seconds remaining in this first half. They'll have to come up with something spectacular. Gidley tries to feed Jack Hughes. He goes down. Oh, they have a penalty, Warrington. And the referee wants a word, I think, with the Televay.
No need for that. Tackles come in, I don't need you swinging the arm in. About what we're doing. No, you don't come in like that.
Swinging arm in the tackle on the grounded player for Televay.
2 points.
They're going to take the 2. Yes, they are. Gidley has got the
they've not looked like scoring, Barry. Sorry, they've not looked like scoring for almost 40 minutes. I'd take any points I possibly could and hope to get the defibrillator out at half-time and breathe some life into this team.
Well, maybe that's the reason why they're taking the 2, or are going to try and take the 2.
Josh, come back a bit, Tom.
Because the half-time siren has sounded.
Well, they would have only had one player, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
And the way that Leigh have defended in the first 40 minutes, they wouldn't have scored a try.
It's not an easy kick. It's not an easy kick, this, either.
I'll back him, though. I'll back him, Phil.
He's never looked comfortable. I mean, Declan Patterson, more of the kicks than so far this season. He's never really looked like a comfortable kicker in his time at the club.
2 goals so far this season. 3 goals so far this season. Warrington have something from their 40 minutes effort. It's a penalty from that man, Kurt Gidley. But Leigh have got 12 points courtesy of the Gareth Hock try, the Crooks try, and a Reynolds conversion and a Reynolds penalty goal. Leigh Centurions lead the Warrington Wolves at half-time by 12 points to 2. And Warrington, they simply can't get out of jail at the moment. The Hock again, and Hock will go for the line, Gareth Hock. The crowd say he's got this. And it has been tremendous watching, but not such tremendous watching for the Warrington fans, because their team is 12-2 down at the start of this second half. And the way we go with Jack Johnson kicking the second half off for us. Can they come back, the Warrington Wolves? They, of course, have lost to the Catalan Dragons and Salford away from home already this year. And they have lost to 2 red-hot sides at the Halliwell-Jones Stadium in Castleford Tigers and the Wigan Warriors only last week. But they are looking for a big second-half comeback here. Will they get it? What was said during the half-time break? Angela Powers.
Thanks, Eddie. Well, from Leigh Jukes' point of view, he wants to see the Leigh side start this second half as they started the first 30. They kind of let it slip in the last 10 minutes, but he wanted to get back to that. Discipline and completion are keys to this, and he wants his side to continue to be the difficult side that they've proved to be in the start of Super League so far this season. Now, it was an animated Tony Smith for the Warrington Wolves in the second half, in the dressing room at half-time. He wants their side to stop giving away cheap penalties and stop looking at the scoreboard as well. Start going back to the game plan is the important thing, and execute what they've been practising all week.
Well, it sounds simple. Do what we've been practising all week. Sounds simple, but they haven't got a team called the Leigh Centurions in their faces.
Eddie, they look good value, don't these Centurions, especially the way that they opened up the game the first 20 minutes. They were willing to go set for set against Warrington. They were keeping it simple. They were running very hard. The way that they approached the game, and look, the mistakes that Warrington are making, they're the ones that are putting pressure on themselves so close to their own line, just 35 metres out.
What a fantastic opening set of 6 defensively for the Leigh Centurions. They penned Warrington back, as you said, 35 metres away. Then they forced the error from Kevin Brown. It's not a scrum down, it's the turnover. It was on the last tackle, so here we go.
And you can look at the way Warrington or Leigh have been playing. Look, straight up the middle. Warrington's forwards, Cooper, Clark, Hughes, Westham and Hildy made 123 tackles between them out of the team's 186.
And here they come, here down this left-hand side with Matty Dawson. He goes away from Gidley, and he gets to within a metre or so of the line. Has he got this ball down? No, he's just short. Brown at dummy half. This is Drinkwater. Now it's with Danny Tickle. Warrington under pressure again at the start of this second half. Pelissier will wait at dummy half 9 metres away. Gives it then to Drinkwater. Oh, the ball was a little untidy. It found its way to Brown. He gets it away to Matty Dawson, but it's a forward pass.
Well, they did well to pick that up, didn't he, Mitch Brown? Unfortunately, when he picks it up, it goes forward. When he tries to set his winger, Matty Dawson, free.
And he goes
the
forward.
space, yeah.
There's a couple of lovely touches there, doesn't it? Mitch Brown, he releases his winger. The previous set of 6, and we're at a more accurate pass. We're at a pass in a backwards motion. That could have been the first try of the second half.
Just some missed tackles, mistake. It's not been the start that Tony Smith would have asked for. The Warrington players come out a few minutes earlier than the Leigh Centurions players.
Yes, they did. They were out a good 2-3 minutes ahead of their opposition.
Well, they look drained to me, absolutely drained of confidence. They've lost the ball again here now in the tackle. They're under tremendous pressure. Matthew Russell's not been the player who's been in the past. Most teams now focusing on him. They know that he's going to run hard and strong like an American running back almost.
I think that's a tough call, that. He's been manhandled all the way through that, Matty Smith.
He's got to hang on to it though, Barry.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Matty Russell, should I say. He's got to hold on to that ball. He's under all kinds of pressure from the Leigh defenders.
Hey,
but yet again, they've got to defend their own line.
There's nothing worse, lads, than when you make a mistake and the opposition rev up in front of you, congratulating each other. I've been in those positions, really tough.
Pelissier from the back of the scrum finds Drinkwater. He finds a Televay. This set starting just 10 metres away from the Warrington line. Huge pressure at the start of the second half. Pelissier gets the ball away to Tickle. And Tickle will take them on at the middle. Savelio stands his ground. And Pelissier is waiting, not making too much progress forward, but hanging on to the ball, the Leigh Centurions, which is what it's all about in this position. Reynolds waiting for the Warrington defence to crack. Pelissier again has a little scamper, and Ashton Sims gets to him, and eventually he and Westerman get him down. Reynolds now, dummy half, gets a flat pass away, and it's the big man, Hopkins. His next try will be his 50th for Leigh. He's just a half a metre shy of it there. This is Stewart, puts the kick in. And it's Johnson who comes up with the ball, grounds it in the in-goal area. Goal line dropout.
Wasn't that a well-weighted kick from Stewart? He steps out to the right-hand side, he drops it onto his boot, he's got players chasing up. All his teammates, or the majority of his teammates, are screaming for it out on the left. They had the numbers, they had decent shape, they were expecting the high kick. But it's not a bad way to finish when you give it Stewart, who gets another repeat set of 6.
This is, for me, a really significant part of this match, and possibly the season for Warrington. I think if Leigh score next in the next few minutes, I can't see Warrington recovering. The test here now is to hold out and hold on.
Tickle, oh, he loses the ball forward. That was a big, big hit on him, though, by Brad Dwyer. It's a free play, so they'll take it to the edge, will Warrington. And the ball is shot out of play on that far side. The referee will, I think, put the scrum down up there, though, Stuart. That's better advantage.
That's right, advantage was taken. It would be much better just taking possession of the ball. They would have then had to go back 40 metres upfield. But because he's knocked it into touch, it's a better position for Warrington to be up there.
Wasn't that a good shot from Brad Dwyer getting under the ball? And Hickson just probably thinking, getting caught in two minds. Well, just...
Well, he
take the ball off the field.
It was a free play.
Take the ball off the field, it'll go back to where the mistake was, but Brad Dwyer certainly comes up with the goods there defensively.
Just on that, Eddie, it was a free play, but because it ended up in a better position,
absolutely,
we end up the field.
Absolutely, but Hickson didn't realise that, right, did he? He thought, well, it's only a free play.
Well, I think he's misunderstood the law, hasn't he?
Yes, he's misread it, yeah. Unlike Terry O'Connor.
I said that.
That's what I say, unlike Terry O'Connor. This is Rhys Evans. And it's Brad Dwyer who finds Gidley, and here is Cooper. Now this is a chance for Warrington, there's no doubt about that. And Cooper keeping the legs going, goes down 10 metres away from the Leigh line. With Dwyer again, he finds Westerman. Westerman then to Brown, and a little juggle. But offside against Leigh on their own line.
Well, Glenn Stewart gets off the line, puts pressure on Kevin Brown, who's still, you think he's out. When he goes to catch that ball, the ball goes forward, he just concentrates on getting it. And you can just see, look, as soon as he's focusing on the ball, it's Stewart, wow.
Oh, that's a bad one.
Yeah. And he's out straight away, Kevin Brown.
Right.
That did look bad, that.
Right. I've got a penalty for offside, but I've also got contact with a head by Glenn Stewart. I'm going to put him in the bin. Okay. Glenn! 10 minutes. Here we go.
So he's on the way to the bin, is Glenn Stewart.
Off you go.
So Leigh are down to 12. And they have a penalty coming against them for offside, but the stretcher is out for Kevin Brown, which is of more concern to us all.
Yeah, it is. Could say they've been down to 12 and for 10 minutes would help Warrington, but losing your star playmaker in Kevin Brown, who'll spend some time surely in the concussion bin.
Well, he's got to go off. He's got to be assessed, and you would think a hit of that ferocity to his jaw, it's unlikely he'll be back, but who knows?
He stayed down and he's a little bit wobbly on his feet. Young Harvey Levette on the bench for the Wolves tonight. Although he toiled last week, he lacked a little bit of experience. He had plenty of endeavour. And Brad Dwyer, he had his hands on the ball and he inspired his teammates with a good shot, dislodged the ball. And you need those players with big voices and big presence like Kirk Gidley to take control of this now.
Ashton Sims will take the ball forward on the first tackle. No sign of a 2-point penalty goal there. This is Gidley. Gidley then gives it to Hughes. And Hughes putting the Leigh defence under pressure. Remember, they're down by a man for the next 10 minutes. This is Westerman. This is Warrington's chance. This is a golden opportunity for the Primrose and Blue to take control of this match. It's with Gidley again. Drops the pass off to the big man. Sims once more. Down he goes. Good tackling by Sam Hopkins. This is Dwyer. Dwyer will attack the line as he always does. There are 3 men there to stop him. Referee shouts held. It's 5 tackles now. This is the last. And Gidley will hoist the kick high. There's a charge down. The ball's all over the shot. And the referee says it's back to 0. In the tackle count, he wipes the tackle count clean. So here we go. This is a chance for Warrington. Cooper takes it in. Cooper offloads it back to Brad Dwyer. Dwyer looking for runners. Westerman is there. Westerman gets it away into the arms of Gidley. Gidley attacking the line once again. Halted by Tickle. Helped out by Hopkins. Dwyer to Sims. Flying tackle. Low down. Came in from Lachlan Baird. Here is Harvey Levette. First touch for him since he's come on for the injured Kevin Brown. Scrambling Leigh defence. Dwyer gets the kick away. It ricocheted off a knee and Leigh gratefully drop on the ball.
Well, isn't that how you defend? Leigh Centurions come up with all the answers then in defence. They were very good. No one jumping the line. Everyone working very hard together. Now you get the penalty.
I think though, Terry, in fairness, it is great defence, but pretty ordinary attack. You know, they seem to be setting up to set it up, to just drive it in and set it up again, don't they? There hasn't been many questions asked of them, really. Good commitment in the middle. I like that. Last week they defended the try line particularly well against Huddersfield, who had lots of opportunities. And they've obviously clearly, in the first month of the season, massively improved the goal line defence. Atmosphere here, buzzing now. The home crowd are really on their toes, and it's helping the team to do the same.
And here's I was going to say here's another penalty for Leigh, but it isn't. It's a penalty to Warrington because he moved off the mark.
When he gets up, Ben Crunch, you see him apologising to his teammates. He's caught with Levette. He walks forward. See that penalised this year.
He's pushing into Levette, and that's what's made him go forward. You know, just stand up and play the ball.
So another golden opportunity then for Warrington here. Can they set up for setting up sake?
Well, Joe Westerman's taken over from Kevin Brown now in the standoff role. You see him getting more and more organised.
Levette again, and they found Atkins, who in turn finds Savelio. Savelio was hunted by Lachlan Baird. He was found eventually by the defenders. He gets up wearily, plays the ball. Here is Cooper. This is Westerman. Now Gidley. Here is Jack Hughes. Jack Hughes goes on the inside. Atelier was there to cut him off at the pass.
Working hard from the inside. Leigh Centurions not letting that gap get big.
Darrell Clark is going to have a go himself. Darrell Clark. And he's lost the ball, I think.
It's interesting to look at this one, Eddie.
He's either lost the ball or is it a try?
Got tackle 3, I have no try.
Just wants to see, by the looks of things, Stuart, how the ball came free.
That's it. Has he lost it or has the ball been stolen? Obviously, the restart is quite significantly different. Does he get the ball down? Well, there's an arm underneath it. And he's lost the ball at that point. I can't see a ball steal. He's just lost the ball in the in-goal area.
Yes, he's fumbled it.
It's Drinkwater, isn't it? Drinkwater's all around him. The Leigh Centurions, number 7.
So this could be a tap 20.
It'll be a restart on the 20-metre line, which is actually gives them 7 play the ball. So indeed, that's a good result for Leigh on that one.
Full credit to the Centurions, though. How many attacks? And I get your point, Phil. I agree completely. There isn't much. There we go. There's confirmation of the no try. There isn't much expression from Warrington. They aren't posing many questions.
That was better. That was about the best minute they've had.
What I was going to say, even when they do ask questions, Leigh Centurions have enough energy, enough commitment to one another to repel the Wolves.
They just seem to be dealing with everything that's in front of them, whether they're carrying the ball, whether they're in good ball, whether they're in yardage, which is bringing the ball away close to their own line, or whether they're defending their own line. They're dealing with everything.
Well, Chris Hill has returned to the fray.
2, move, Chris! Hold it here, please.
Solid run from Burr. Another one needed by Tellier-Bay, but that's a forward pass.
Well, they're inviting Warrington into the game now, aren't they?
They are. They're giving the invitations to the party, and Warrington might accept it in a moment.
Yeah, a couple of mistakes.
As crazy as it
forward
sounds,
pass from Pelissier to Tellier-Bay.
As crazy as it sounds, they're only 10 points behind on the scoreboard. There's just less than half an hour to go. They've been completely outplayed for 50 minutes, the Warrington Wolves.
And Glenn Stewart still in the sin bin.
Stay on! Okay, let's bang.
So they really are sending out invitations to the party, the Leigh Centurions, at the start of the second half.
You feel that they need to score within the next 10 minutes, because if it goes down to the last 20, they'll be offloading the ball, they'll be trying to come up with magical plays. Then when they're chasing the game, a team that's not getting wins on the board will start chasing the game as the minutes are ticking down.
So will Warrington RSVP in a positive mode to that invitation that Leigh have thrown down to them? Here is Darrell Clark, gets the ball away to Gidley. Gidley then to Livette, who thought about the offload. Under pressure though from Hickson, held on to it gamely. Gidley again, Sims being asked to do a lot of the big running down the middle. Offloads, just dumps it back to Gidley. Gidley then, oh, it's all over the place for Warrington. Back it goes to Chevalier. The referee will bring it back for the knock-on. Let's go down to Angela for news on Kevin Brown. This could be vital for Warrington, Angela.
And it's bad news for Warrington as well, Eddie. Kevin Brown won't be going back on. I had a little chat with his doctor who said, in terms of his physical jaw, he was hitting the jaw, that's fine. But because he was sparked out cold, there's no way he's going back on that field this afternoon, or this evening even.
And I think Glenn Stewart might hear a little bit more about that during the course of the week.
That the worse it is. To lose Kevin Brown.
That's a huge blow for Warrington to lose one of their major playmakers.
When your back's against the wall, you need people like Kevin Brown playing.
It's also a huge blow, and it makes the job even more difficult when those offloads are forced offloads. They're bobbling along the floor, and there's that much nervous apprehension. Nobody wants to pick the ball up, and ultimately resulted. There you go, there's an offload to a player in a better position.
Now that's a different offload, isn't it? Because Leigh run hard into contact, all of a sudden they get the Warrington line going backwards, they put a bit of a dent in it, so they can offload the ball. It's more of a controlled offload.
Strange old debut at home for Glenn Stewart. He has missed the last 4 for the Leigh Centurions, and he might be missing a bit more of the season after that tackle on Kevin Brown, but that's up to the disciplinary. That's a nice chip over the top by Ben Reynolds. Johnson comes across again and grounds the ball. Goal line dropout coming up. Leigh turning the screw.
Again, Eddie, look at the previous play. The big number 23, Sam Hopkins, he goes he runs aggressively into the defensive line, and that enables Leigh to kick on the front foot. You can find that space, you can read what's in front of you. If your forwards are going forward, you can sit back and look what you want to do that next play.
Well, Warrington here tonight. They go to St Helens next week. That's a match you'll be able to see live on Sky Sports. The Catalan Dragons, of course, have the Saints as their visitors on Saturday. So Saints Warrington next Friday, 7:30 Sky Sports 2. Might take on huge significance for those two clubs. Depends what happens here, depends what happens in the south of France on Saturday evening. Pelissier waits at dummy half for Leigh. Here is Drinkwater. This now is Vey again. He rides one challenge. He gets away from another. He gets away from Chris Hill. It's a good job that Ashton Sims was there. Pelissier again into centre field. He finds Drinkwater. Drinkwater then gives it to Reynolds. Reynolds goes wide to Rocky Hampshire. Oh, and Ben Crooks has put the ball down. Free play. Oh, and then there's a bit of a tug on the shirt of Tom Lynham. And then there's a little bit of a smack from Lynham. And then there's a melee.
Well, that's the frustrating part of the game now, isn't it? When things are going against you. And Leigh in that attacking play, they probably needed to straighten it up. It was too lateral. It's easy for Warrington to defend against.
Well, there was certainly a pull back here on line, and then watch the reaction. There's the reaction as Hampshire gets, and then a belt to the chin of Hampshire. Now, is that 6 and 2-3, Stuart?
Well, the first defence is the pull back, but you can't have a reaction like that. You know, it may well be that Warrington might end up with a penalty, but they may also end up with someone in the sin bin.
Well, it's the elbow. It's not just the forearm. It's an elbow from Tom Lynham. But there's the penalty.
There's the penalty.
Yeah,
clear penalty. But
that again, I'll say it. That looks bad again, doesn't it?
It does. They both do look bad.
So we've got a first defence and a pullback by Leigh, so that's the penalty. But then we have a reaction where Lynham swings out and he throws one. So he's going in the bin, but the penalty's going to him. Right, Tom, 10 minutes in the bin. Time's up. Wait a minute, I'll explain in a minute. He's in the bin.
So he's in the sin bin, and I think he'll be hearing a bit about that as well later in the week, next week.
There's no argument there, is there?
With your man pulling him back, right? That is a penalty against your man. We've then got your man who swings out. No, I'm telling you, Chris, the man, right? He's in the bin. So the penalty, the first. No, listen to me. The penalty of the first offence. The first offence is by a Leigh player, right? So the penalty is going to Warrington, who then overreacts and things out. So that's what he's doing. You sort your lads out and leave it to me to sort out. Well, first penalty. No, don't need to talk. Here.
Well, he won't take any back chat, Ben Thaler.
Well, you know, at the end of games, you often look back, don't we, about the 55-minute mark here. We've had a significant stop and play. We've had a player sent to the sin bin. And we'll often go back and look at this as a potential turn point. Leigh need to ensure that their defence and concentration is as good as it's been for the last 55 minutes if they want to win 2 more points in this competition tonight, as they're about to go back up to 13.
They are. Glenn Stewart is preparing to come back onto the field. This is desperate stuff by Warrington. It's hairy, scary stuff, isn't it?
Do you know, look at the line speed yet again. It's aggressive. Pelissier was offside. Yeah.
Too quick.
Pelissier was offside then. And Chris Hill and Pelissier coming together. There's something what going on.
Calm it down.
Referee says calm it down. It's not quite as simple as that then. Not when you're up against it.
Is he offside, Stuart?
Well, he seems to be away before the ball comes away from the ruck, and he's got the call from the side, so that's what he's given.
Well, who determines whether he's offside? The touch judges, are the referee?
The touch judges, they're calling when the ball is played.
OK, the Warrington are here with Chris Hill, and this is Darrell Clark. Now it's with Gidley. Gidley is looking for Johnson. Johnson lost it forward, and the frustration grows for the coach, Tony Smith.
We can see that they're trying to inject that bit of pace to just get the defenders sitting back on the heels. They've got dummy runners running through. Johnson's just not on the same speed or at the same level as Kurt Gidley. He makes that mistake.
They're anxious, Warrington. You can see that they are so anxious. They are desperate to get this 0 away from their name at the foot of the Betfred Super League table.
Let's get the discipline, boys.
And when you're under pressure,
you're under pressure all the time.
Yeah, when you're under pressure, you do things that aren't natural to you.
Alicum, come on!
So far in 2017, a shadow of the team that we saw last year.
Well, movement!
Eddie, again, I'll go back. You can strip the game back to its absolute basics. Unless your forwards are running hard, being dominant in the middle of the park, landing on the front, knocking every time they carry the ball, they're sending the Warrington players backwards, you won't win games.
Higson takes it forward.
No.
Then Westwood is entangled with it. Hampshire none the worse for that elbow in the face. Whereas Kevin Brown, of course, is off the field and won't be returning tonight. This is a Televey. Solid enough run from Televey. Outside of the boot, an invitation for Dawson, but the ball beats everybody.
That was a good kick, wasn't it?
He's inventive, isn't he, Josh Drinkwater?
Mickey.
Formerly with the St George Illawarra Club and the West Dragons in Australia.
We've seen
last May.
Sorry, Eddie, we've seen Ben Reynolds kick the ball, Josh Drinkwater, Glenn Stewart just returned from the sin bin. Last tackle options. Warrington have virtually no chance to prepare and get set for what's coming. They're changing their minds, making decisions on the hoof. John Wells going to speak to Josh Drinkwater after the game, and I wonder whether he'll talk about how they set up and the talk between those three players when they're putting those kicks in.
Yes, I wonder whether we'll be talking about a victory or whether he will be talking about a defeat. At the moment, the signs are he'll be talking about a victory, but there is still a quarter and more of this game remaining.
Wait here, markers, okay.
Away goes Darrell Clark. He can turn a game. He's away from 2. He's almost away from 3. Dawson hangs on to him and wrestles him to the ground.
Let him get off, you Dano!
Gidley will come the short side with Hughes. He'll then find Matty Russell. And Russell cuts in field. Remember what he did to the Brisbane Broncos? He's not going to do it to the Leigh Centurions on that occasion. Nice. Here's the last one.
He's looking for space, wasn't he, Russell?
Gidley. Rhys Evans is down, by the way, as this attack continues on the other side of the field. Oh, and here goes Ben Crooks. It's an interception from Crooks. He's got Ryan Atkins after him, and Atkins is so quick.
Oh, it was a foot race, wasn't it? As soon as he got that interception.
Quick play the ball wanted. It wasn't that quick. It went through the legs of Hickson. He's allowed to play on. The Warrington fans are going crackers. They thought that was a knock-on.
Well, they've just got back now, Warrington.
This is Reynolds. Here is Stewart. Westwood gobbles him up. Hyam is there at dummy half. Gareth Hock is out there too now. Hyam gets to his feet with his mate Chris Hill all over him. They go down the right-hand side with Gareth Hock again. Westwood doing good work in defence, so too Westerman. Hyam is there. Drinkwater dabs the kick to the in-goal area. Oh, and another grounding in goal, this time by Kirk Gidley.
Again, it just builds that pressure, doesn't it? The clock ticks down.
Well, it all started with Ben Crooks and the interception and the pass by Levette.
Well, he did well, didn't he, to get himself in between those two Warrington players, but
how great is Atkins?
Yeah, look at that.
It's easy when you're not running with the ball, though, Eddie. It does make it a bit easier on that race there as he came back.
It does, but he is quick.
Yeah. He had to save them, though. You know, Jamie Acton, Sam Hopkins, players who you maybe wouldn't associate with playing at the highest level in Super League have done really well here tonight and this season. And a try from Leigh here now would just send the home fans into ecstasy.
Acton will take it forward. He knows the way to the try line, does Jamie Acton. Tries in each of his last 2 at home. That was Hock. This is Reynolds. Gets the ball away. Stewart! Well, that would have been interesting. They come wide and wide again, and has Hickson got it in? I think he has, and he's not happy. He has got the try. He wasn't happy with the challenge on him. And Andon Hickson gets the try for the Leigh Centurions that has been building for 5 minutes or so since they went back to the full complement of 13 men. Alan Hickson, 63 tries now for Leigh, and is second in the Super League inside a week.
Well, they've been building pressure, and the short kicking game from Josh Drinkwater just puts more pressure on Warrington. You can see that Ryan Hampshire, he just checks over his right shoulder, he spots that there's some space out on the edge, and Adam Hickson, who made 128 running metres last week when he played against Huddersfield, so good bringing the ball back, but he's also so good scoring tries as well.
Stuart, can I just raise a question with you that I'm sure that Kieran Cunningham will have in his mind at this moment? That tackle there, or that would-be tackle from Andre Savelio, is that any less or any worse than what we saw last week by Alex Walmsley?
Well, I think it's slightly less because he's on his feet. He's actually trying to get his shoulder in as well. We may well look at it again and see that his knee has made contact first, which puts a slightly different slant on it. But you know, for me, he's attempted to get his shoulder in as well as his knee. Obviously, he wants to get the shoulder there first. But
and that's why he's got away with not giving away a possible 8-point try.
I would think that's in this case, yes. But you know, the video referee hasn't had a look at this as he did last week.
Okay. Well, he wasn't referred up, was it?
Wasn't referred.
To Ben Reynolds. At the moment, it's a 14-point lead. This for 16. Difficult kick. He's given it a chance. It's just gone in front of the posts. 16-2.
Well, discipline has played a part in this game. Here's Glenn Stewart. He clouts Kevin Brown around the chops. Kevin Brown can't go back onto the pitch. And Tommy Lynham thrashes his arm, lashes out, and it's the run of Glenn Stewart. The setup for that try came from 4 defenders trying to prevent Glenn Stewart scoring that try.
The ball is out off Matty Russell, and having looked at that try being replayed again, I can see what you were saying, Stuart.
Well, here's Warrington desperately trying to get themselves back into the game, get possession back. I think in the try we just saw a minute or two ago, we didn't give enough credit to Ben Crooks for his catch and pass. It's a very difficult skill when you're under pressure like he was, but he helped to make it easier for Hickson to score. And without the ball, well, Warrington cannot score.
And what we must say is, having 2 men in the sin bin, one from either side, is that Warrington could not capitalise on the 1-man down for Leigh, whereas Leigh have capitalised on the 1-man down for Warrington.
Yeah. And scored exactly where Tom Lynham was supposed to have been defending. Isn't this been incredible? They didn't concede a try last week. These Centurions again have been penalised.
Penalty for playing the ball on the wrong mark.
Yeah. Well, these are a couple of things that they need to tidy up, but just walking forward again, Jamie Acton. The refs have been consistent.
And Warrington have not found touch with the penalty. Well, it's getting worse.
And I was going to say, going back to what they've been like defensively, didn't concede a try last week in 80 minutes, haven't conceded a try in 64 minutes. This will surely lift the spirits of the Leigh players. Good from Adam Hickson, taps the ball back inside for his fullback Ryan Hampshire.
You know, 12 months ago we were talking about the Leeds Rhinos struggling at the wrong end of the table. This early season demise is on a par with that for Warrington. But in fact, 4 defeats in a row, and maybe 5 defeats in a row, is far worse than the Rhinos 12 months ago, who won 1 of their first 4.
Well, I think the new fixture format, which basically sets the first benchmark at 23 rounds, it means puts teams under more pressure. And some sides now sniff blood. There's a wounded animal in front of me in this Warrington Wolves. And obviously, under pressure now, they're being chased and hunted down by Leigh, who are so determined now.
And what you're saying is spot on. 10 wins, we think, gets you into the top 8.
So they're going to have to win 10 remaining 18 games.
They've lost 4.5. Well, 4 3/4.
Next week's game, fascinating for them, doesn't it?
But it all depends what happens now in the south of France on Saturday with Saints. But can you believe that next week, when we see Saints and Warrington, we could see 2 sides battling for their Super League lives? Catalan Saints on Saturday night, 4:55, Sky Sports 3. Huge. Before that, Leeds and Wakefield. Tomorrow night, 7:30 on Sky Sports 2. And then next week, as we say, this time next week, we're at Saints. Saints against Warrington.
It's a big week, isn't it, for some of those sides?
I think next week, by the way, Saints and Warrington's Friday.
It's a big week, Eddie. Thursday or Friday on Sky Sports.
And then we've got Wakefield and Leigh next week. I think that's on Thursday.
Just gets better.
There you go, that's going to confirm it. Wakefield Leigh next Thursday, and the following night, Saints and Warrington. I can see it now, I know where we're going. It's okay.
He's offside.
He's offside, you're right.
Oh dear.
But again, why are they making these mistakes? Well, you just mentioned it. Leigh are up in the face. They're trying to play the game. They're offloading the ball. Chris Hill, when he picks up that ball, he's at dummy half. Darryl Clark wasn't hurt. He scoots out. Then he offloads the ball.
They're 16-2 behind, and there's less than 15 to go.
But that's what I mean. But because Leigh are putting them under pressure, aren't they?
They're 16-2 behind, and at the bottom of the table with no points. That's why they're under pressure. They're anxious, they're nervy, they're jittery, they can't play.
No, Eddie, but
Their
just from this game, yeah, but Leigh have put them under pressure,
yes,
haven't
they have. Oh,
defensively, they're getting in their eye line, whoever's catching the ball. And then when they're behind on the scoreboard, they're trying to play that catch-up rugby game, which isn't helping them as well.
We're making a lot of Warrington's misgivings, but we should actually pay credit to Leigh, who are absolutely magnificent.
Leigh have been quality.
And here they come again with Hampshire, trying to go inside Levette. Savelio got a bang then on his shoulder as he helped out with the tackle. Stewart, back it comes to Reynolds. Harrison Hansen. Hansen just tries to turn the screw. Highan will be loving every minute of this. Gets the ball away to Gareth Hawke. He got the first try. He's got another. He has got another, Gareth Hawke. And the try is given by Ben Thaler. Well, I said no need to panic last week when Warrington went down to Wigan. I think there is a few causes for concern tonight.
Quality set-up from the Leigh Centurions. Phil talked about the Warrington Wolves setting up for a set-up for a set-up. Well, the Leigh Centurions, they had the long side and the options available to them. But the smart intellect of Mickey Highan, he thought he spotted something on the short side. And it was the big fella Gareth Hawke who carries three players over the line, much like he did in the first half. Good intent, poor tackle technique, but fantastic determination from Gareth Hawke.
Savelio opens himself up, he plants his feet, and Gareth Hawke, he's a big, powerful runner of the ball. He just picked out Savelio straight away. He's running him, he had no chance of stopping him. Like a juggernaut, a runaway train. And what you get with Gareth Hawke, he's a big, powerful player, he likes to play through the line, but he's also got the ability to play, Eddie.
Well, he has, and he's not a renowned try scorer. The ball carrying arm never hit the deck, and he just plunked it on the line. 2 tries in a match for Gareth Hawke. He did it against Workington in 2015 for Leigh. He's done it for Salford, and he did it 5 times for Wigan. So that's the 8th time in his career he's scored 2 tries in a match. Oh, and he's missed another one as Reynolds. The kicking hasn't been brilliant from Reynolds today, but everything else has been from Leigh.
Well, they're just exaggerating there the gap and difference between these two sides. In the final 10 minutes or so, we'll probably see a few more points from Leigh. They're running so hot. Their hands are so happy. Everybody in the team wants to get hold of the ball.
Well, they're in Super League. They're back where they think they belong, and they are going to exceed their points total of 2005 already in 2017 if they hang on for the next 11 and a half minutes.
Yeah, that's right. I met with Barry and Terry about 2 months ago, just before the season started, Eddie. We were trying to guess how the top 8 might finish. I think one of us had a bet to finish in the top 8. Can't remember which one of the 3 it was.
No, I can't remember.
This is Westerman. I take it that was you, Phil.
Oh, yeah, it was.
I thought it was me.
Oh, penalty. They get away with this. That was a penalty. Mickey Highan was hanging on.
No, Mickey, come on.
Yeah, and they need it as well, don't they?
I don't know what Mickey Highan could have done, to be fair, to get away from that challenge. Chris Hill, anyway, for Warrington. 11 minutes and counting for Leigh.
And this game might have gone, but they need some positive signs here, Warrington.
Gidley might provide them. He gets to within millimetres of the line. Clark, will he pinch one himself? Will he go on his own? No, he fires the pass into centre field to Westerman. Here is Chris Hill, cut down by Mickey Highan. Clark waits. Here now is Westerman again. Goes one way, comes back the other. This is Gidley. Whoa, what a hit.
Josh Drinkwater getting in on the action, Eddie.
Hill underneath the post on tackle number 5 for Warrington. Clark waits. Went to stab it in. Levette gets the ball out to Johnson. Johnson gets it away to Lynham. Lynham back out of the sin bin and puts the ball down. But he put the ball down first of all over there. I don't know what all that was about.
He's trying to claim he didn't actually ground the ball, and we may get to see that again. The referee doesn't want to see the grounding. He's happy that it went in the corner. Nice pass there from Levette. Wigan throws it out there. Now, does he ground the ball?
Yes, it is. It's grounded there, yeah.
We'll give some credit to the two youngsters, Levett and then Johnson. Johnson's the player who supplies the pass.
Well, that's definitely down. Had he not grounded the ball, then Stewart is allowed to do that.
Absolutely. Until the ball was grounded, it's play on. The ball was grounded when it touched the line.
So had he tucked it under his arm a bit closer and slid on his elbow, would have been okay. Levett here to try and add the extras, which he does. Harvey Levett. Lynham's try, 9 minutes from time, improved by Levett, 20 points to 8. 9 minutes remaining.
Well, Levett, then
is
Johnson.
The comeback of all comebacks on.
Well, it'd be a decent shout if it was, Eddie. I'm not so sure whether they will do.
2 converted tries for a draw. Now then, I wonder whether they'll have a go for the 1-pointer, Leigh, if they get within Cooey.
I'm sure they will. Sure they will. With a lead of just 12 points, anywhere in striking distance, they'll go for it.
Well, one of your golfing mates, Eddie, I'm sure he once said to you, didn't he, never write off the Wolves.
All of my golfing mates say that. It'll be very interesting to see them on Saturday.
You often see back-to-back tries in this game with a quick play of the ball or a penalty. They're at the other end of the field now. Did he move off the mark?
Well, what's the difference?
I can't answer that one.
He's been hot on that tonight, Ben Thaler.
3. Move, Jamie! Back with me, Mick. Marcus! That's where good. 3.
This is Kurt Gidley. Oof. Westerman was almost caught unawares. The ball has gone to ground. Is picked up by Mike Cooper. Good run from Cooper. Offload. Well, they've got to try everything now. Here's Westerman. Down, he lost the ball, Westerman. Oh, they've not spotted that. They've not spotted it, the officials. Here is Gidley. Did it go backwards, though? Was it lost behind him? Maybe he got benefit of the doubt. This is Clark. This is the last one. Levett running it. That's the knock-on. Here they go. Here goes Ben Reynolds. Just go to ground, which is exactly what he does.
Not panicking at all, Reynolds.
Oh, he's panicking nearly there. He almost played it to nobody.
That's the object of the game. Play the ball as quick as you can.
Square.
Well, he's trying to strip the
That's
ball.
a penalty, and this will be the match.
2 points here, Eddie.
Voluntary tackle from Ben Reynolds.
Well, I think they call them surrender tackles nowadays. And in fact, Atkins probably got off far too quickly, or quicker than he needed to.
There you go, Reynolds. He doesn't panic, does he? He goes down. He knows he's been chased down. He knows he's been chased down. Then Hickson goes in. Lynham gets hold of that ball, strips it to 2-man tackle, gives the penalty away, probably. And you would say now, Eddie, with just 7 minutes to go, this is the game if this kick goes over.
Well, he's not kicked so hot tonight, Ben Reynolds, has he?
He's going to waste a minute and a half. Oh, sorry,
a minute
and a half or so will expire before this kick is actually gone and we get a restart of play. So it's the time now is the biggest problem as well for Warrington, as well as a 12-point deficit.
And on the would-be voluntary tackles, you don't think he just lost his footing on the slippery surface?
No.
1 minute they've got.
He'll take his time with this.
Come a bit forward.
Well, 2
nice
from 5. It's 33 metres out, and it is 2 priceless points, not only tonight, but I think in terms of the league ladder for the Leigh Centurions if he kicks this. Ben Reynolds. He's made sure of this one. That will just take the heat off the Centurions for the last 6.5 minutes. Well, he fell. But earlier on, we've seen a couple of penalties for moving off the mark, and if that's not moving off the mark, I don't know what is.
Well, to be honest, looking at that, you could have probably penalised Mickey Hine for putting his hand back in on the ball. So, probably 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, play the ball.
We're here, boys. Wait, boys, wait. Go.
It's all about interpretation, Stu.
And let's give some credit to Leigh. They're turning the Leigh Sports Village into a fortress, aren't they?
They are. They are,
It was a fortress in the Championship when they were in the Championship for those years. Everyone was talking about them. They're the best team outside of Super League. In everything but name, they were a Super League side with some talented players. They've added to that. They've got some real quality. As Acton loses the ball here from Clark. And now they're mixing it with the big boys and coming up with some decent wins.
And I think the lads mentioned it at half-time. It's been a very composed, a very mature performance from the Leigh Centurions. If you were watching both teams for the first time, you didn't know which one had been in Super League for a length of time. You'd say it with a team in red and white.
You would, and just to emphasise the point about the home record of the Leigh Centurions here, providing nothing dramatic happens in the next 5 minutes, Leigh have lost just 1 in 20 at home now since 2015.
It's a
That's
huge
an
record.
incredible record.
It's a huge record. But again, defensively, I like what they've done. What they do here, look, no one's overcommitting. They're only coming in at the last minute when they know that the ball carrier is going to be taken to ground. They come in and add weight onto those tackles.
Rhys Evans trying to outmuscle 3 or 4 defenders. Here now is Gidley. Gidley then gets the ball to Westerman. Westerman comes back this way, trying to battle his way through these defenders. Plays the ball to Darrell Clark.
He was looking for the penalty, then he stepped back into those players who were marking.
That was a hope, a throw and hope. This is Ashton Sims. Clark. Here is Gidley. Gidley to Sims. Sims to Livette. And Livette to the touch judge.
Scrappy. We've got all players who are getting their hands on the ball. They're looking for someone to push up in support. Who's going to be there? Who's going to come up with a decent surge? Then Ashton Sims with the offload to the youngster, Livette, who just passes the ball into touch. But Warrington are going through the tough times at the minute, aren't they? And still, I'll go back to what I said in the first half. There's enough quality in this Warrington side. As soon as they start to click, they'll cause problems. Unfortunately for them, they're just playing with a lack of confidence.
They need 10 wins minimum from the next 18 to get in the top 8. Otherwise, they're going to be fighting for their lives in the middle 8 qualifiers back end of the season.
Makes it a huge game next Friday, doesn't it, against Saints?
Kieran Patil, Paul Cook, Neil Dukes doing a fabulous job here.
It's a good team, isn't it? Both on and off the pitch. The coaching setup they've been put together, done a tremendous job. Defensively, offensively. Here we go on the right edge.
It's with Rhys Evans. He's quick, is Evans, but so too is Mitch Brown.
Eddie, but look at the white jerseys getting back. They don't want to concede a try.
Oh, there's a
penalty,
tackle without the ball.
It's got to be a yellow card, hasn't it?
Yeah, surely.
Just penalty, running out the ball.
Just a penalty. Could have scored.
Well, drink water then. The man who's offside. I agree with you, Phil. He's lucky not to be in the sin bin for the remaining 3 minutes.
Russell.
That's one. Move! Line!
Jack Hughes, Kurt Gidley, Sims, Hyam and Hansen doing the job. Clark takes the return. Clark finds Gidley. Gidley short ball to Livette. That was into an ambush, really. Clark, Gidley again. Drops the shoulder. And Gidley, I think he's just short. He is. How on earth they kept him out? The Lord only knows. Brad Dwyer, scrambling Leigh defence. They do not want this line to be broached again. Gidley, wide they go. Savelio again. Great stuff in defence, and that is the turnover.
Eddie, that is desire. That's commitment. That's a work ethic. That you turn up for your teammate when the ball goes away from you. You work hard to get across the park. You don't want to concede a try. You don't want to be that weak link in the chain.
Tickle hits the deck. 1 minute and 10 seconds remaining. Leigh for their third win of the campaign. 6 points. Warrington for a defeat again to leave them stranded at the foot of the table.
Well, any newly promoted side in any league, rugby union, football, needs to learn very quickly. They've not been in that environment. Leigh have shown us. We watched them in the first game when they played at Casford, and they did look out of sorts, but they've learned, adapted, and evolved very, very rapidly here to make themselves look like a genuine contender. They're going to I think they're going to win as many games as they lose this season if they continue with the attitude they've had today. Great work ethic, brilliant skill, and two wonderful kickers in Drinkwater and Reynolds so far. We've really applied so much pressure to their opponents that ultimately they cracked.
Well, last chance for Warrington to get closer than 22 points to 8. Here is Russell. He'll play it on halfway. Brad Dwyer. Brad Dwyer is brought to ground by Danny Tickle, Josh Drinkwater and Harrison Hansen. There'll be no more play the balls. There's the siren. Harrison Hansen salutes the victory. So do the Leigh Centurion supporters. That's 3 straight home wins. They sit above Warrington, St Helens and Widnes on the table. Thanks to these victories here. 22 points to 8. You know, 6 of their first 9 this year are at home. It has been vital they take advantage of that if they are to avoid the middle 8 qualifiers, the Leigh Centurions. But with Warrington struggling at the wrong end of the table, they will be looking over their shoulders and they will be thinking, unless they win 10 out of the next 18, they will be in the middle 8 qualifiers themselves. An incredible story. Well, let's find out who is the Betfred